Returning to my Coin Lady channel, I am pleased to see you again. What is coming is something the ECB has just warned us about. This is a huge announcement since it confirms that a significant reset is now underway, you guys. The huge catastrophe, or black swan event, is all that's left to happen now. While I will cover that topic and much more in this video, I will also elaborate on other points. I did include this in a recent film, and if we go through time, we can find it. Never forget what the International Monetary Fund said in November: digital currencies issued by central banks can supplant physical currency. We must not turn back now. Digital currencies issued by central banks have experienced nothing but meteoric rises in value since then. Moreover, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, provided us with this information on September 20th regarding the acceptance of digital currencies by central banks and inclusive initiatives for both users and intermediaries. The article did bring up the fact that CBD acceptance is still in its early stages. The public's lack of knowledge and trust, a preference for current payment methods, and insufficient incentives for intermediaries are just a few of the obstacles that have prevented widespread adoption of digital currency among the nations that have implemented it or are running large-scale pilot programs. No central bank can assume with certainty that the CBDC virtual manual will be readily adopted and scaled up once it is released. Successful CBDC adoption depends on various factors, including technical readiness, operational robustness, and strategic policy and design choices that involve end users and intermediaries from the beginning. This paper tries to persuade policymakers to promote CBDC adoption early on by making these arguments. The absurdity of the situation lies in the fact that they are essentially asking, alright, well, CBDC adoption is still slow. How can we basically force this on people? And make sure they are incentivized to accept a CBDC? I am captivated by this. We also know that this is on the schedule, and it goes beyond the digital euro. Their efforts on this have been acknowledged, and we are aware that it is taking place. Here from the European Central Bank, we are collaborating with the euro area's national central banks to investigate the prospect of issuing a digital euro, or digital money. This digital money would be issued by a central bank. It would function similarly to cash but be stored digitally. It would supplement traditional forms of payment like banknotes and coins, and it would provide consumers more options when making purchases. Curious, I suppose. Okay, so they do dissect it. I don't have the cookies on hand for this, but rest assured, we have all the information you require. Can you describe the digital euro? They dissect it. What is the purpose of a digital euro? This time around, they're more concerned with providing an explanation for their continued want for control and anchor. The questions of how would a digital euro work, and what stage are we in now, arise, as Christine Lagarde would put it. Beginning in November of 2023, we are now in the planning stages of what may be the creation of a digital euro. The results are based on our inquiry phase, therefore they are still in the same ballpark. Now, if you examine the following phases, they provide a comprehensive outline of the timeframe underlying this. At this time, those are all the significant updates. We received the first progress report on the digital euro preparations in June of this year, namely on June 24th. The year 2020 marks the beginning of their serious investigation into this topic and their experiments with ACBC. I know they said it would be out by the end of 2025. But now I hear a lot of people predicting 2028, nobody knows for sure when it will be released. We have a plan outlining the steps to get to this point. Aside from that, though, I really think this is going to drop when nobody is expecting it. Ugh, we have to wait until 2028. We have to wait till this time. I suppose you know every single time frame we receive regarding CBDC. In my opinion, they are going to speed things up. A big crash, which will force us into a CBDC world, is what I see coming. Additionally, this area is home to the Digital Euro Association. Do you know who's involved with this? Keep this in mind. Actually, we know that Ripple is a gold member of this. I find it fascinating that Hedera is also a silver member. Even though it is merely a think tank, this institution is nonetheless highly consequential. No matter how strongly BlackRock promotes Bitcoin, the European Central Bank does not support it. Not to mention that the ECB is not a fan of Bitcoin. Now you may be asking why this is the case, and my response would be that central banks see Bitcoin as a significant threat. I don't understand. Because of its high vulnerability to fraud and manipulation, Bitcoin has been unable to realize its potential as a worldwide, decentralized digital money for financial transactions. It's an absurd assertion, really. According to the ECB blog, Bitcoin is still expensive, sluggish, and inconvenient, and I'll admit, I agree with them on this one, because Bitcoin transactions are expensive. You have to go over layer 2 networks, which is slow and, well, annoying. It's merely a major inconvenience. A digital money that is both efficient and secure would be my preferred method of payment. I won't mention XRP or anything like it now. Once again, the point of this video is not to say that XRP is going to be successful soon. Rather, it is to discuss the fact that CBDCs are bad for the market, but most people are too busy worrying about other things to speak out against them. If you want to get ahead in this situation, you need to be familiar with this plan, invest in digital currencies that are linked to these central banks, and maybe even consider buying some gold and silver. However, we have Rice Swell 2020 on our hands. Binsel is the same person that wrote this. CBC is pushing towards digital. Oh, here we go again, a comprehensive overview, Bitcoin's ETF acceptance, and the Emperor's new undergarments. Because, once again, it's essentially glitter trash. However, we also have materials from the BIS over here. Ripple is a member of this chemi group, you can tell who chairs it just by looking at him. Once more, quite intriguing material, all red, spin sale. And the European Central Bank is the source of this information. Additionally, the cross-border payment interoperability with central bank is the main emphasis of this chemi group. In addition to digital currencies and tokenized currencies, the European Central Bank is also present here. Things are about to become interesting. A global economic downturn is foreshadowed by a comparison to the Roaring Twenties. The president of the European Central Bank, Christine Lagarde, has issued a warning about the world economy, comparing it to the Great Depression of the 1920s. Christine Lagarde, of all people, would know best. Keep in mind that her position is that of a central banker. In 2008, she details a trifecta of catastrophes, including the pandemic, the conflict in Ukraine, and an energy crisis reminiscent of the 1970s, all of which she is well versed in. While the ECB's interest rate hikes have helped to reduce inflation in the Eurozone without causing significant job losses, worries about a possible recession indicated by an inverted yield curve in the US persist. It's worth noting that the US is cutting rates to prop up markets a bit more in preparation for election year, and supply chains are also experiencing disruptions. My advice has always been to be ready for the worst-case scenario. If that doesn't happen, then it's alright. We were ready for anything. Now that we take a closer look, though, it feels like we're attempting to tape shattered glass. The damage is too great, and there's only one way forward, the one they want, but it's the only one. For a long time, this has been the course of action that the ruling class has intended. At the same time, global uncertainties are still there, but Japan's economy is improving slowly. In Lagarde's opinion, the current crop of policymakers is more prepared than previous ones to deal with these kinds of problems. The viewer's presence here is greatly appreciated. Show your support by subscribing to my channel. I'll see you later, goodbye.